This is the beginning of Cosmic Fire Webinar Commentary number 28B. We're in the Paths of Higher Evolution Commentary compilation, page 130. We are working on the ray path and the very obscure stanza which is associated with this fifth and ray path. We're dealing with a word which has been sounded forth by the great adjuster, apparently some kind of karmic lord who seems to have a planetary responsibility here at first. We're going to keep it in the planetary level because the preliminary work of such a adept or Chohan on this path is with the planet and within the planet, and we have our planet. And so he is responding to that word with a sound which he has or he knows, but it can only have been heard or registered by those who have stood before the Prince of Doom and seen the darkness descend upon the fivefold sons of flesh. In other words, he has experienced some kind of pralaya, so some kind of vibration from the past is added to the word, it appears. Some kind of vibration from the past has been added to the word of indigo, which the adjuster has sounded. So the dual word is creating the ring of insulation. The dual word of the adjuster's word and the sound added by the adept builds the ring of insulation and holds him within it. It holdeth him secure until the word, another word, is spoken which will unseal the fount of speech. Another word is spoken by whom? We have to ask. By whom? Which will unseal the fount of speech. It's as if, since speech creates form, it is as if there is response to vibration on this path at first, but not the permission to create through speech. Maybe not at first. So this first word, plus the sound he adds to it, will unseal the fount of speech. What about this sound? It encircles. Okay. The sound he speaks contributes to the encirclement, and the ring of the ring Passanat is related to Saturn, and to the third ray. So it's the ray of individualism, which means encirclement of identity. So when we're dealing with that which walls the individual off from others and makes him seem separate, discrete, and unique, the divine separator, the third ray, it is a sound from a previous system, maybe, in which encirclement and individualism and the ring Passanat defining the individual were primary themes. Anyway, there's so much about stability on this path. So he's held secure by the union of his word, of the adjuster's word and his sound. He's held within an insulated condition, and he cannot speak in this condition. Now, DK did not discuss whether or not Ray Lords, or those in training to be Ray Lords, could speak maybe this was not an issue in his description of this path, as far as I can see. It's obvious to me that any one of these paths, to study it, one has to be maybe in group form and to work for intensive periods discussing why or why not something given could mean what one thinks it might mean. I have thought that the words given could mean certain things, and I've suggested them, but it needs the group process and time to determine whether the proposals are reasonable. So he's in a state of silence. The trainee on this path is now compelled to be silent. His lips are sealed. At least with respect to the high task undertaken. The silence lasteth for 7 times 49 years, so 343 years, and each year for a day. A day of what? Is this a day of Brahma? This would be a long time for the silence to last. Anyway, it's obvious that that years are not Earth years in the human sense, but are greater cycles. It cannot be simply for 343 years that the silence must last. It's too short a term, it seems. So, we have in the discussion of cycles the idea of the year of Brahma. It's a very, very long time. We have the day of Brahma. It's also a very long time. It's in the millions of years. I think if we go to Cosmic Fire, page 39, I think maybe that's where we'll find it. And we look for footnote 6 and try to expand this. And there we have it. There are yugas here. There are kalpas here. And a kalpa, one day of Brahma, it's at 4 billion years. And I don't think we can have, we can only have some 360 some of these days in a year of Brahma, which is 3 trillion 100 and there's something wrong with these figures. This is 8 billion, and now we have 3 trillion 110 billion 400 million, and we see that we should have, for 100 years, we should have 311 trillion 40 billion. This figure is incorrect. It's not correct, because it's the same as the figure that is directly above. But, days, nights, years, we have to refer to we have to refer to some kind of chronology because obviously this is put in human terms and not in terms of the greater cycle. And I think all we can do with this is to make it very small, maybe 8, something like that, and see if well, I'm not going to be concerned about this. It's not really possible to. Let's see if make it even smaller. Home, and we'll make this a 6. Okay. Let's see. Right, and now what I'll do is put these a little closer together, if possible. 0.06 multiple 1.35, let's just say single space, and we'll just erase those and see if it helps at all. Well, it got them a little closer together, didn't it? But let's say the cycles below must be studied in this context. Must be studied to see what is the meaning of a year, and then a day. And each year for a day. And can there be, if we have 343 days of Brahma, we have something like a true year of Brahma. So maybe the 49, okay. Well, there are possibilities here. We have to bring in the duration of chain rounds as they relate to years of Brahma, and chain rounds as they relate to, well, let's say RT, to days of Brahma, and then to years of Brahma. Days of Brahma, and then to years of Brahma. So much will depend on whether one remains with the solar system, within the planet, within the solar system, or then goes to cosmic spheres, which can last even longer than a solar system does. I guess the only point that I can really make is that we cannot accept the literal value of these years, and the fact that a day appears to be equivalent to one of these years. We do see that the number 343 is involved, so we may be talking, because of 343, of work upon the 343 subplanes of the cosmic physical plane. And yet this ray path will lead to other cosmic planes as well. So, you know, we're led off into completely cosmic considerations, absolutely beyond our ken. So this silence lasteth for a time, the silence in which he cannot speak. At some point he will be able to speak. What does speaking mean to this Chohan? What does speaking mean to this type of Chohan on this path. Maybe that he will be able not only to respond to vibration, but to create through his knowledge of vibration, and create on his ray line. Maybe that's what speaking means. One can only use the words maybe, and not with much confidence either. And here I'm going to 311 trillion, just to get it right? Imagine doing that incorrectly in the AABCD-ROM. 40 billion years. Can be very misleading if one didn't know better. I think one does know better here. I think so. And I can say that this is corrected. Excuse my very slow procedure here, but you know, this is really feeling one's way. Corrected from AAB CD-ROM. When the silent one within the wall seeth the ray approach, when he changeth the key of the earlier spoken word, the disruption of the wall is seen and the door openeth before him. Well, he is the silent one, and this is by choice and not by incapacity. If we had been dealing with the lower kingdoms, it would be incapacity to speak. The plants cannot speak, the animals cannot really speak. And we have to account for the 21 cycles. It has to be within a planet. We cannot get 21 cycles with scheme rounds and within a solar system where there are these great rounds which take in all the different planets. 21 pretty well confines us to work within 49 chain rounds, which are the usual number of rounds we would find in a planet with 7 at least exterior or objective exoteric chains. So he is called the Silent One, and on this path apparently some degree of silence is required. Some degree of silence is required for a long training period. Some degree of silence is required for a long training period. But we must know what years and days mean in context of this training. We do remember that in the present incarnation of the Solar Logos, there are said to be, he's halfway through, and the duration of an occult century is his life, and that's some 311 trillion years. So he's halfway through, and even if the solar system per se in the etheric and physical mode does not last all of that 150 left, because it will be a shorter time, still it's a great, lengthy period of time. We're told that those on the path of the planetary logo have a very long period of training. It may even last Mahakalpas. So, in other words, he's not going to emerge being a master in this kalpa, Mahakalpa, into a planetary logos at the end of it. That's just not going to be possible, because many, well, so some thoughts are coming. since on path 3 a very long period of training is required to become a planetary logos, so on this allied path, path 5, also a very long period of training may be required. Of course, the sense of time is entirely different there, and one can endure that. Our cycle is just like one of those June bugs here. They last for a day. So even though the term year and day may mean vast periods of time, this still may be possible. This still may be possible. So actually, to become a planetary logos from the state of master, it may take, in DK's quote, many Mahamanvantaras. So what about this work of becoming a Ray Lord, which is just like a planetary logos in the solar systemic sense? So very long periods of training will be required. Now, we can't say that the adept on this path is immediately going to become a Ray Lord, just like we cannot say that the adept on path number 3 is immediately going to become a planetary logos. The adept on this path must work his way up to becoming a Ray Lord. But the period required could be just as lengthy as to become a planetary logos, because from one perspective, a planetary logos is a Ray Lord. And then there are other Ray Lords and so forth. So in this training, we could be dealing with many Mahakalpas, Mahamanvantaras. Okay, so he seeth the ray, and I suppose this is a type of cosmic ray approach, the ray, a type of cosmic ray. Well, maybe within the wall seeth a ray when he changeth the key of the earlier spoken word, and this was maybe the key spoken by the adjuster, the key of F, allowing for insulation and the creation of a Saturnian-like ring pass knot. Then the disruption of the wall is seen, and the door openeth before him. He need no longer be insulated from the other energies. He can sustain. He can sustain the ray energy. Ray energy, which he must sustain. He no longer needs protection of the third aspect. Okay, well, and DK did not get into this either about what happens later, because if you think about it, those on the path of the planetary logoi, it's an allied path. It takes so long, many Mahamanvantaras. So what are the steps on the way to becoming a Ray Lord, or a pure Ray, maybe even not working through a planet, yet the planetary beings are Ray Lords? Are the seven spirits before the throne of our planetary logos, are they in a way disembodied? Are they simply pure rays? And of course, even though it seems that our planetary logoi are the seven spirits before the throne of the sun, they are in a sense. Are there other spirits before the throne which don't have planets? And when it comes to the cosmic Ray Lords, are there spirits before the throne of the cosmic logos which are not working through suns? In other words, are there disembodied rays? Okay, we have to ask, what are the nature, or what is the nature of disembodied rays? And what are the steps through which one must proceed in moving towards becoming, if there is such a thing, call it disembodied Ray Lord? Well, we work our way up to becoming a planetary logos. We can become Manus of different kinds, and there are all kinds of beings, most of which we probably don't know, but we do know Manus. One can become Manu. One can become Globe Lord, or different assistants within the Globe Lord. One can become a Chain Lord, or different types of administrators within that chain. One can become a Scheme Lord, the final planetary logos. There are all kinds. There's a ladder of ascent. There is a ladder of ascent in becoming a planetary logos, and also another ladder in becoming a Ray Lord. There are greater and lesser rays. There are rays within the solar system and rays which are cosmic. And one can work on one's own ray, and still express in many different octaves of that ray. Well, that was the first word. Now, when we're talking about the blue, we have the eyes of blue. I'm going to copy that again to keep it down here for when we discuss the next word and the different blue. Because there are the eyes of different blue, and there's also the words which hide numbers of different blue. So this sacred blue is it corresponding to the turquoise? Let's ask that. I know it seems foolish to say let's ask, but, well, time is an illusion and the question will hold, won't it? So, is this blue related to the turquoise eye of on the path of the planetary logoi? So the second word, and it's spoken by the karmic adjuster, because after all, the law of equilibrium is the law of karma and is related to Libra and Saturn in our solar system, in our system, holds hid the number of the sacred blue. Well, every color has its frequency. And when we're dealing with the law of vibration, when dealing with the law of vibration, as this type of trainee does, then one must know the frequencies of the necessary colors. So we have different types of eyes in the path of and different types of sight on the path of the planetary logo, and we have different types of words here spoken by the adjuster. Holds hid the number of the sacred blue, and not the number of the indigo. As it reverberates, the scales ascend. Now one wonders, sacred. One thinks of Sanakumara. One thinks of Sanakumara and his relation to sapphire blue. So we have turquoise blue, sapphire blue, indigo blue. Among the eyes, the indigo was the most comprehensive, but now we have words spoken, and we wonder if the sapphire blue might not be spoken. It does not have the admixture of green the way turquoise does. As it reverberates, the scales ascend, and the man who seeketh to mount within them seeth the moment pass and knoweth not what to do. So he finds he cannot affect the equilibrium. He cannot contribute. He cannot act as part of the equilibrizing process. Now, apparently, he can speak vibratorily in line with his ray, but the scales are now too high for him. The adjustment, the stability that has to hold sway, he finds he cannot contribute to it. And it is the sacred blue. The first was the indigo blue. I think what we better do is have open, let's go seeketh to mount. We'll just do that. There's only one. It reverberates forth, and it's the word value of the synthetic indigo. Now, which is greater, the synthetic indigo or the sacred blue? And eventually the outer blue. Well, we seem to be working our way down, perhaps. Or maybe the synthesis includes both blue, higher and outer. We're not told what the outer blue is. So this is the sacred blue, and we ask ourselves, is this a higher blue than the indigo? Or is the indigo that which contains both of the pairs of opposites? Oh, no. Of the pairs of opposites. The higher and the outer. Because next we're going to encounter the outer blue. Well, in any case, it seems he could do something. The man could do something, submit a sound to the indigo word. But here, maybe he cannot. Okay, let's see. As it reverberates, the scales ascend, and the man who seeketh to mount within them and be part of the equilibrizing process, right? And therefore be part of the equilibrizing process, seeth the moment pass and knoweth not to do. He struggleth for speech. He can create because he now can speak, since his insulation is disrupted. How was the insulation disrupted? Because the ray has approached. He seeth the ray approach. When the silent one within the wall seeth the ray approach, when he changeth the key of the earlier spoken word, the disruption of the wall is seen, and the door openeth before him. It seems that now he can, at least the seal upon his lips is broken, disrupted. The seal upon his lips has been broken. He can create in line with his ray, because the ray has approached. And as it is said, when the ray approaches, he seeth the ray approach, and he changeth the key. And he changeth the key. I better go back to where he's changing the key here in the commentary. Changeth the key. We can ask to what note? Usually F, G, and C are the relevant notes. So perhaps a change to G, which would correlate with sapphire blue of Sanakumara. He changeth the key of the earlier spoken word. Maybe he goes from F to G. Maybe that's oftentimes found in cadences, closing cadences. Now he raiseth his right hand in supplication to the great adjuster, but the right hand is the hand of will. But it represents his higher spiritual aspects, with which he appeals to the holder of the scales, the adjuster. And from the sacred halls of the city of the White Island there issueth a messenger who speaketh to him the following mystic words. So, city of the White Island, which is Shambhala, he's still very much Shambhala. He is still very much within the solar system for training. There issueth a messenger. So it seems as if the adjuster must be working in relation to Shambhala. And here is a messenger. It is not the adjuster, and apparently not the Lord of the world. So this messenger bears a message from Shambhala. I'm thinking more and more, the sapphire. How do you spell sapphire? S-A-P-P-H-I, sapphire? The sapphire throne in Shambhala, because this is definitely a Shambhalic section. And so the blue may be the sapphire blue, a higher blue, sacred blue, and not the indigo ray of the solar logos, but the ray related to the planet and to Shambhala. Blue is important on our planet. It is the secondary planet after all. So there is a response. He doesn't know how to contribute to the equilibrium here. It's out of his reach. What happens? The scales ascend to a point which is out of his reach and influence. He can speak. He struggles for speech. He doesn't know what to say. He raises the highest part of himself, the right hand, which is highest part of himself, in supplication, so begging, invocation, as a subordinate, awaiting some helpful response to the great adjuster. From the sacred halls of the city of the White Island there issueth a messenger who speaketh to him in the following words. So, as the power enters by that which is uppermost, and as it issues from the lotus within the head of him who hath held his peace, utter this word. The power by that, as the power enters by that which is uppermost, so maybe Shambhala and the monad of the trainee, I hate to use such a word, maybe I'll say the adept, as the power enters by that which is uppermost, and as it issues from the lotus within the head of him who hath held his peace, utter this word and look within. We'll see if we can interpret this. It is difficult. So, repeating this, as the power enters by that which is uppermost, maybe the monad, and as it issues from the lotus within the head of him who hath held his peace, because within the wall of insulation he has held his peace and has not spoken or created through speech. Utter this word and look within. So there is a connection here between the highest point of the man, his monad. The highest point of the man is his monad. And as it issues from the lotus within the head of him who hath held his peace, and that is, he is the one who, for however many cycles on this path, has held his peace, he is now to utter a word given to him from Shambhala. So, a word, and it's really capitalized, is given to him from his highest nature, which is within Shambhala, and he is to look for results within. And of course there is the ellipse here. We don't know whether this gives us the name of the word or tells us something about the word. So he who hath held his speech and who has struggled with to speak, and unsuccessfully, really, in terms of contributing to the balancing process, breaks then the silence. So after the ray approached, the seal on his lips was broken, but still he did not speak. He only struggled with speech. Now, given a word, he can speak. He utters the 4 deep sounds which cause the scale again to drop within his reach. 4 deep sounds. Well, the number 4 is the number of manifestation. We are working here within the cosmic ethers. Cosmic ethers. Characteristic. Cosmic ethers. We're working within the cosmic ethers. And now he can contribute, which are 4 in number. There are 4 gates or doors to Shambhala. The deep sounds suggest sounds related to manifestation and to the possibility of affecting manifestation. What these deep sounds, comprehension of the 4 sounds is not these, because that's found on the Buddhic plane, on the lowest level of the Buddhic plane, and he's already a monad. So what are these 4? As a monad, what is beyond his reach? What really is beyond his reach? If he's standing on the monadic plane through all this whole process, he stands as a monad on the monadic plane, then how high did the scales go to be out of his reach? Well, anyway, the scale again drops to within his reach, and thus he can contribute. He can contribute to holding the stability of the planet in which he is working. And then, so we cannot know what these 4 sounds are, but at least they bring the scale downward. The 4 deep sounds, who knows? Well, maybe not here, but an idea. The 4 deep sounds could relate to, well, the square of manifestation. And one thinks of the rays of attribute. One thinks of the rays of attribute which are related to the lower worlds, whereas the rays of aspect to the higher. So I will just ask here, what of the sounds of the rays of attribute. No, we're not going to get that. Well, let's just see here if I have it. Rays of ROA and ROAT. Okay, it's all capitalized. Sometimes that's my problem. Sounds of the rays, ROAT, rays of attribute. Another door is seen. It opens wide, and thus the way is trodden. So we say, now he is prepared to tread a real path, which is the way, and where does it lead? Is this the way which releases him from the solar system? Maybe this is too early in the process. But it appears as if an important part of his training is now completed. See, upon this way we must always think, what is the training which these beings, these adepts, are undergoing? And was there an earlier door here? Okay, the ray path, the energies converge, they shake, they descend sometimes upon the right hand and the left. Their energies are 5. The major hue is golden. Aha. Well, then, you kind of wonder, do they come from the sun? And I'll have to ask that. The scales descend, Prince of Doom. I don't see any other doors here, but another door is seen, and it opens wide, and there the way is trodden. I'm going to go back here and just wonder a little bit about these I'm going to wonder about the origin of these 5 energies. If their color is golden, is gold. So does this golden color implicate the sun or solar logos as the source of them, the Brahma of the solar logos, perhaps? Anyway, that is something I wanted to ask, and all right. Another door is seen, it opens wide, and thus the way is trodden. Let's just say a more advanced section of the path on which he travels. All right, now the scales are within his reach. The third word holds securely sealed the key to the outer blue. Not sure whether these blues can be correlated with the colors of the eyes in Path 3. The eyes of the Lotus Lords, the type of eyes of the Lotus Lords. It contains the order for inversion. And what does inversion mean? It means turn outward. And the outer blue, you know, the outer blue, well, blue is matter, or blue is water, and water is matter. This question of why the blue on this, perhaps blues, because all are related to the great synthetic ray, which of course is indigo. So in a way we are functioning in representation of the great synthetic ray. But the outer blue looks to me like the outer world. The outer blue relates to the outer worlds of manifestation. So a word goes forth. The first word created insulation, and the second word, let's see, what did it? It caused the scales to ascend to Shambhala, and the man came into relation with Shambhala. The second word caused the scales to ascend to Shambhala and brought the man into relation with Shambhala, and then made it possible for him to work more outwardly as in relation to the next sounding. The third word holds securely sealed the key to the outer blue. It contains the order for inversion, turn outward and not upward, and only those can hear the word whose ears have been closed for 11 eons. Well, what is an aeon? Is it akin to a cycle or a rounded term? Sounds like the 12th is missing. It is never heard within the realms of pain. Not heard within the world of division. The lower worlds, pain and division, are equivalent. And the higher, the cosmic ethers, are not the realms of pain, but the dense physical body of the solar logos and planetary logos is the realm of pain. Few therefore hear it, and those few elude the scales, escape the fiery eye of the great adjuster, and that is a lord of karma who condemns one to be part of the karmic balancing, and in their very blindness find the path which lieth on the further side of the scales, and this is a cosmic path. Cosmic PTH. Okay. Cosmic path. Well, I know we have cosmic path here. CSPT and no H. Okay, so there is a path. This is a cosmic path which leads to the cosmic part of this path, away, certainly away from the planet, and maybe away from the solar system. So it is never heard within the realms of pain. It contains the order for inversion. But inversion seems to be the command to work in the outer worlds. 11 eons. Well, I don't think I can say much about that. We have cycles, rounded terms, and eons. And we have there is an insulation. Yes, those who have practiced this deafness seems to be a practice of insulation, so that the ears are deaf to all but the note related to one's ray. So the ears have been closed to distraction for 11 eons, and are thus worthy of hearing this word, which makes possible the treading of a way which leads beyond the necessity of karmic adjustment in the worlds which the adjuster was supervising. It is never heard within the realms of pain. Now, what is the realm of pain? From another perspective, I was going to say, can the realm of pain be the entire cosmic physical plane? But generally, it's the division. We reach a plane of unity on the Buddhic plane, and pain as such caused by dissonance is over, so maybe it is the lowest levels. Few therefore hear it, and those few elude the scales. Now for the hearing of the first two words, the scales were very much in the picture, and man's relation to them was very important. Now we talk about escaping from the realms of karma over which the adjuster held sway. So it's away from Shambhala, at least, and it may be out of the solar system. They escape the fiery eye of the adjuster, a particular lord of karma, perhaps assigned to our planet. So we can ask, is the adjuster a particular lord of karma assigned to our planet? Because there are such lords assigned to every planet. And in their very blindness, why are they blind? They can now hear, but why are they blind? Are they blind to are these adepts blind to the lower worlds of pain? Blind to events on the cosmic, in the dense physical body of the planetary logos? Find the path which lieth upon the further side of the scales. And this is the cosmic path, and maybe leading away from the sun altogether. Well, these words of high direction issue from that which lieth upon the blank of the directing life, which holdeth our Lord of life upon his path. To me, this directing life is a cosmic logos. And our Lord of life is our solar logos. And the cosmic And the directing Lord, the cosmic logos, holds our solar logos upon his proper path. With the help of the Ray Lord stabilizers. Now I know I'm running over here a little bit, but I'm trying to finish this work on the stanza together, so it's one unit. I don't want to break it up because it won't be enough for the next program. 3 words are issuing forth from the adjuster. The key to the outer blue. Now, what is meant by outer? I may be entirely wrong about this. You see, maybe we are not talking about, maybe I am incorrect below. Maybe the outer blue is like outer space and indicates the great beyond. And so only those whose ears have been deaf to distraction for 11 eons can venture into the outer blue. And maybe inversion means not to travel to the into the dense physical body of the solar logos or planetary logos, but into cosmic realms. Because yes, I think that has to be entertained as a possibility, because we are told that they escape into cosmic realms. If we look up here in Initiation Human and Solar, page is at 188 or thereabouts, he will pass to the sun, and then, having mastered all connected with vibration in this system, he will pass to the cosmic system, going off his own ray. So maybe that has to do with the outer blue. So in fact, I may have turned this whole thing around, and when I looked at the word inversion, I may have thought of going down instead of going up. So eluding the scales means to go into another karmic system altogether, and the great adjuster, a lord of karma, either of the planetary nature or of a solar systemic nature, no longer holds sway over the man who can now venture into the cosmic system, as it says here. He will pass into the cosmic system. That may be what it is, maybe more likely. So the outer blue, I want to say this here, thus on second thought, the outer blue may not be a lesser blue, but outer means extra systemic. but it's all blue, and it will relate to the great synthetic ray. Now, one wonders, I got an idea here. Is there a blue which relates to the 7 solar systems, of which ours is one, which may be a solar plexus center in the one about whom? And is this is the color of this system, cosmic system, blue? We don't know what kind of blue. So we seem to be moving from indigo to sapphire to an outer blue. And this whole idea of inversion, this may be incorrect. Let's say, I think I have misinterpreted inversion, but have corrected it below. So, there we reach an end of this. These words of high direction, and remember the sustaining of direction is the key. The sustaining of direction, according to Ray, is the key to this path. Issues from that which lieth upon the something of the directing life which holdeth our Lord of life upon his path. Well, who is our Lord of life? Well, stabilizing the entire solar system is one of the functions of these beings, we have been told, eventually. So maybe he's being invited into cosmic spheres. So the adept on this path is now invited into cosmic spheres. What I'm going to do here is simply review. Well, I'm going to speak it. I'm going to speak it with occasional comment, and then maybe just speak it. So here we are, the ray path. The adjuster holds the balances, a karmic lord, probably of our planetary logos, maybe of the solar logos, and the scales are duly set. The energies converge and shake them out of equilibrium, the balances, because there almost always must be a new influx of energy, and old equilibriums must be broken. They descend sometimes upon the right-hand side and sometimes upon the left. These energies are descending into the world of spirit, the right hand, into the world of form, the left hand. The energies are 5 in number because they are Brahmic and have to do with creation, and their major hue is gold. That is, maybe they come from the solar logos, whose major hue is gold. And also gold can be related, as we've said, to the color yellow, which can represent the third aspect. 3 great words are spoken by the adjuster, and each word is heard by those whose ears have been deaf for 7 cycles and whose lips have been sealed for nigh upon 14 rounded terms. Well, I had wondered about the lower kingdoms here, but now it seems more as if we are dealing with human beings, and in a way I want to say that for 14 rounded terms. Here it is somewhere. We have to find the 14 rounded terms. Okay. That's just too much. 14 rounded terms. So has this, does this relate to the evolution of man? To the evolution of the human monad passing through the various kingdoms and being deaf and dumb in the process, because the lower kingdoms are really the expression of the human monad. And so we are dealing with the evolution of the monad through long cycles of 3 chains, perhaps? 3 chains. Well, it's still difficult to know who it is that at first have been deaf for 7 cycles and whose lips have been sealed for well nigh 14 rounded terms. Why have they been sealed? Have they been sealed by will or simply sealed by the laws of nature? Maybe. Anyway, going back here, 3 great words are spoken by the adjuster, and each word is heard by those whose ears have been deaf for 7 cycles and whose lips have been sealed for well nigh upon 14 rounded terms. And these we assume are human beings now. And if I mention the kingdoms of nature, maybe they are human beings who have gone through the kingdoms of nature, because the kingdoms of nature are simply expressions of the human monad. The first word contains the numerical value of the synthetic indigo, the great ray of indigo. It reverberates forth, the scales descend, so the man can contribute to them. He who hath ears to hear it, who has been through the human process of evolution and can hear the note of synthesis, mounteth the scales and addeth to that word another sound, which has come from his past and from his evolution through that which is controlled by the third ray. None have heard it save he who hath stood before the Prince of Doom and hath seen darkness descend upon the 5-fold sons of flesh. Well, this I'm correlating this with those who have seen the pralaya of a previous field of expression and have heard before that pralaya a word correlating with the past. This dual word now, which the sound that he adds and the word that the adjuster has spoken, buildeth a wall which surrounds the Son of Man, whose lips are dumb. He does not yet speak, at least he does not speak in the higher terms of the ray. It holdeth him secure upon this path until the word is spoken which will unseal the fount of speech and make of him a contributing member in sound and speech to the purposes of the ray on which he finds himself monadically. This silence lasteth for 7 times 49 years. That tells us something about the 343 divisions of the cosmic physical plane, and each day and each year for a day. And we have to consult here the Hindu chronology concerning the days and nights of Brahma and the years of Brahma. The years are actually perhaps less than the days in this context, but anyway, it will require some cyclic research. It doesn't simply mean Earth years. When the silent one within the wall seeth the ray approach, the great cosmic ray, then he changeth the key of the earlier spoken word. Who spoke it? Was it he that spoke it, or was it the adjuster? Maybe it moves from F to G. And the disruption of the wall is seen, and the door opens before him. I'm just thinking of the blues now. You know, I wonder if the outer blue is really electric blue, having to do with somehow with the first ray. The second word holds hid the number of the sacred blue. As it reverberates, the scales ascend, and the man who seeketh to mount within them seeth the moment pass, and knoweth not what to do. So it goes too high for him, and he must find a way to bring the scales on which he can contribute something to the general equilibrium back into his range of contact. He struggleth for speech, he can't speak yet, and raiseth his right hand, the hand of will and of his higher aspects, in supplication to the great adjuster, still probably, I believe, the adjuster who is connected with our planetary logos. From the sacred halls of the city of the White Island there issueth a messenger. This is from Shambhala. A messenger comes, who speaketh to him in the following mystic words. Now, the adjuster could be the solar logos, a karmic adjuster for the solar logos assigned to our planet, or it could simply be an adjuster assigned to our planet, but the response does come from Shambhala. And here are the words of the messenger: as the power enters by that which is uppermost, presumably the monad, and as it issues from the lotus within the head, which is correlated with the monad, of him who hath held his peace in the wall of insulation, utter this word. A word is given, and look within, and then we will see what will transpire. He who hath held his speech, who is that one on this path who has been insulated by a protective mantram, allowing him to attune only to his ray, breaks then the silence. He utters the four deep sounds, which are sounds of manifestation, let us say, which cause the scale again to drop within his reach. Presumably he is on the cosmic etheric planes as he does this. We don't know whither the great scale has ascended to be out of his reach, but anyway it drops back into his reach. The four deep sounds, maybe he's uttering cosmic etheric sounds, maybe the scale has somehow ascended onto the cosmic astral plane out of his reach. Another door is seen, it opens wide, and thus the way is trodden. He will have to go through the cosmic astral plane to the cosmic mental plane on this particular ray path. The third word holds securely sealed the key to the outer blue. And now, I've changed my mind on this. It's not the lower blue, it's the outer blue, which is the outer blue of space and of cosmic life. It contains the order for inversion, maybe not to work in the lower kingdoms, but to travel to the heights, and to not work for the planetary logos in all the lower kingdoms, as has been stated, but to go beyond. And only those can hear that word whose ears have been closed for 11 eons, meaning who have worked on the ray path exclusively on that line for whatever 11 eons represent. Well, goodness. Sometimes an eon is actually a Mahamanvantara, but I can't see, no, it's too big a span. So probably it has to be somehow intra-solar systemic. It is never heard within the realms of pain, that is, within the dense physical body of the solar logos or planetary logos. Few therefore hear it, and those few elude the scales of karma held by the great adjuster who is supervising karma on our planet and maybe within the solar system, escape the fiery eye, mathematically astute, letting none escape who have not balanced their karma, of the great adjuster. So he need no longer work within the lower realms of karma, and in their very blindness, maybe he's blinded by the fiery eye. Well, he has escaped that fiery eye, which compel him to serve in a karmic adjustment of a lesser kind. And in their very blindness, the few, blindness to the lower worlds perhaps, find the path which lieth upon the further side of the scales. It is a cosmic path. These words of high direction, now are we talking about all three words? These words of high direction issue from that which lieth upon the blank of the directing life, which holdeth our Lord of life upon his path. Our Lord of life could be our particular adept who is being trained here, but we have to remember the stabilizing of the solar system, which these ray lords do and accomplish, and it may be a cosmic word altogether. From that, which I don't know why that, though, would not be capitalized, that which lieth upon the blank of the directing life, which holdeth, it could be a life which is holding our Lord of Life, who is our solar logos, upon his path, or it could be the, on a lower turn of the spiral, the ray lord. Well, he'd have to be an adjuster, because these words of high direction issue from an adjuster. An adjuster is not the ray lord which approacheth, and upon which this type of adept, or within which this type of adept is working. This does seem like a cosmic call to me, and the most reasonable to me seems it holds our Lord of Life, our solar logos, upon his path, and a cosmic logos would do that. If our solar logos is a heart center within this cosmic logos, then that heart center function has to be upheld, and this directing life holds our Lord of Life on that in that function. Now, if we take it at a lower point of the spiral, these are words of high direction, issue from what? The adjuster as a directing life, which holds our little Lord of Life, our little adept here, upon his path. But of course we have capitalizations here, and it's hard to think that that would be the case if we were dealing with simply holding our adept upon his path. Our adept has held himself upon the path through his insulation, through silence, and through a deafness to all that would direct him elsewhere. So, friends, what a stanza! What can we say? Good Lord, good Lord, which Lord? And you know, each time I wonder, will it become more difficult as we go to the path of the solar logo? Or will it be still more difficult as we go to the path of absolute sonship? Will it become utterly impossible to say anything? Things here are said. You just have to understand, I'm saying them because these ideas come to me. I'm not saying them because I live and work and understand in the realms in which these adepts are working. These are associated thoughts, and they are thoughts which may be associated with sparks of truth, which the intuition may register, your intuition, my intuition, or better yet, the group intuition. So these are seed thoughts born of associations, and these seed thoughts may give a link to the greater truth. So, well, I'm well over the edge, and so this is in a way a 2.5-hour program, and I'm going to go down to the bottom here, wishing in a way that I could continue, and realizing I've said some incorrect things, as in I believe that the outer blue, I had misinterpreted this. But I want to say, but this can be is probably a misinterpretation, as outer means cosmic blue, most probably. Well, there are blues here, and there are blues in connection with the path number 3, but they don't seem to correlate exactly. This sacred blue may be a sapphire blue, and it may correlate with the eye which looks upward. But the eye which looks outward seems to be a greater type of blue. And I'm going to go here back to stanza number, okay. There's the turquoise blue, while the eye which these lotus lords gaze out upon the cosmic path is outward turned. Gaze out upon the cosmic path. Its hue is indigo. And the eye through which the middle group of lords looks up is turquoise, and the eye of deep unmoving slumber is through sapphire blue. So the sapphire blue is the least esoteric. And the turquoise blue is looking up. And let's see what it says of the indigo blue. The eye through which these lotus lords look out upon the great illusion is upward turned. They see but that which lieth just above them. The third group is the strange, mysterious triple group whose name may not be heard as yet within the planetary spheres, whose color blends not with the blue in just proportion. The eye which these lotus lords gaze out upon, the eye through which these lotus lords gaze out upon the cosmic path, is outward turned. Its hue is indigo. So a modification may be needed here as well. The eye through which the middle group of the lotus lords is upward, looks up. So I may have to modify this and go back to path number 3, whilst the lords of deep unmoving slumber gaze in through sapphire blue. Out may be outward bound. Thus is the way of triple blue formed into one. So if I were to go back to this statement, lotus lords gaze out. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do it this way. Lotus lords gaze out. Okay. So let's see if there is another place where this is found. See, this word outward may mean outward to cosmos. So I have to put that in. I may have misinterpreted here. This is one of the disadvantages. Okay, so maybe outward towards the cosmos, and not inclusive of the upward and inward way. So we would have, I want to go further up here, much further up here, and see if when I say this, the lotus lords gaze out. There's a triple blue here, as in, right, is outward turned. Okay. Its hue is indigo. The eye through which the middle group sees is. Well, maybe we can do the eye through which these lotus lords. Maybe we can do that. The eye through which these lotus lords. Maybe we can find it in a, okay, this way. The eye through which these lotus lords, okay, it appears that I cannot find this. All right, friends, well, now I have found it, apparently, and there will be a little revision. I cannot go backwards, unfortunately, the way these programs are set up, but the eye through which these lotus lords gaze out upon the cosmic path is outward turned. And I do believe, I have said this. I have said this properly, actually. Is outward turned, and outward, in this case, means the cosmos. So that is actually correct. and the outer blue, so this correlates. I will say just this much. Okay. Actually, I have said this correctly, I think. That is a bit of a relief. This correlates with the stanza of Path 5 when speaking of the outer blue. So here, in this stanza, indigo is like the, let's call it, outer cosmic blue of stanza, well, what stanza is it? Stanza 147, stanza 147 for Path 5. The eye through it is because there is an abstraction. There is an abstraction from the outer level altogether. I did say, I think incorrectly, the sapphire blue is the lowest in this sense. The turquoise is up, and I thought the sapphire had been up. So that was incorrect. But the sapphire is the inward gaze, which is completely divorced from anything in the outer worlds. The upward gaze is turquoise, and the outward gaze toward the cosmos is indigo. So different types of blues are used. This is the outward gaze towards cosmos. Well, both of these paths end in the cosmos. The path of the planetary logoi certainly does. It becomes a cosmic being, and the planetary logos is a cosmic being. But he still stays within the indigo because the indigo is the ray of the solar logos and of the great second ray. The outer blue that we find later, let's look at this, outer blue, stanza, is outward towards the cosmos. Okay, let's see if there's another outer blue. Outer blue. Let's go again. The third word holds securely sealed the key to outer blue, and I want to make this outer blue really big because it's so very, very important. And it seems to be the cosmic blue. The third in the series for each one, for the path of the planetary logoi and the ray path, orients us towards cosmos. The outer blue, it may be difficult. It may be different in a way from indigo. It may be electric blue. So, okay, but this may be incorrect, and I'm going to cross that out. A little bit crestfalling to see the misinterpretation here, but inversion means turned outward, not upward. But let's cross that out as well so we know where my thoughts have been and where they go. I think I've misinterpreted inversion, but have corrected it below. So 11 eons are another, how long are 11 eons? It's another, we're maybe adding another 11 rounds to the 21 already, so there's 32 rounds, and 32 rounds would take us into maybe the 5th chain, perhaps. Well, these cycles are so obscure it's just foolish to try to pin them down in any particular way. Just suggestive thought, that's all I can say. I want to make the term outer blue even bigger, if possible, because it is a real lesson to me that the word outer does not necessarily mean exoteric. It can mean that which is totally extrasystemic. I have learned that the word outer does not necessarily mean exoteric, but can mean cosmic and extra-systemic. Well, that is a... well, I've done some interpreting here, but we just have to try to forget that if we can. I think it is not correct. Not correct. But it's not that I can go back and erase this. Well, at least let's just say that you will have understood how I fell into error and how then I tried to correct myself. And I hope it's not a waste of your time to see that particular thought process. The order for inversion is here, and this inversion, has to do with not attending to that which is on the cosmic physical planes, but to reverse the direction. Let's say this means, so we say, now I think this means a reversal of direction which takes one from concern with the planet to cosmic, to cosmic concerns, or maybe solar systemic, but I think cosmic. And only those can hear it, that word whose ears have been closed for another. Is it like for 11 eons? Is it like for another 11 eons? So do we have here somehow 21? Do we have like 21 cycles plus 11 more? Are eons, cycles, and rounded terms all the same? All dealing with chain rounds? Well, we cannot know yet. Okay, now perhaps I can have the peace of mind to end this madness. Well, trying to blaze a trail here, trying to use the Aries energy to blaze a trail among the ignorant, among which I number myself, to come to grips, more complete grips with these archaic stanzas. There are those who know. They just know. And they are on the inner spheres, and they are high initiates. And in training for this path, those who are masters becoming Chohans must know what these things mean. But their knowing is of altogether different order than ours, and we are just trying to clear through the underbrush of our own ignorance here, and open up spheres of consideration which were well and truly sealed to us, though in our midst is the revelation. Nevertheless, our inability to get any kind of handle on this revelation has sealed from us what the revelation is intended to impart. So maybe we can come to grips a little bit now with this, possibly. What I'm going to do now, if I want to time this out very slowly, I'll simply read the Great Invocation. I think that will be the way to go. I'm left a little bit, well, just the tiniest review, perhaps. We have considered 5 paths. The path of earth service, leading to the 6th path of which our solar logos is upon, the path of the solar logoi. We have considered the path of magnetic work, which seems to lead directly to the cosmic astral plane, and is the path pursued by many fifth-ray monads, and leads to the path of absolute sonship. Maybe other paths lead there too, but certainly the second path does. We have considered the path of the planetary logoi, which is approached through the department of the Mahachohan, and to me would seem to carry many third-ray monads, but the soul rays would have to be on all the rays, I suppose, because somehow they are going to be in training for being planetary logoi of all the rays. So we cannot say that only certain rays can tread this path unless those who tread it switch on to other rays in order to demonstrate through a planet, or demonstrate through all of the ladder of lives which lead up to demonstrating through a planet. We've considered the mysterious path to Sirius with all of its glorious potentials, it being the path along which the bulk of humanity passes, and so obscure are the indications that it's easy to forget, but we will enter onto that path, those of us who tread it, as humble entered apprentices, I think in even a higher way than taking the fifth initiation, which is a kind of entered apprentice degree in the Syrian regime. See, there's one, we will be educated by three great types of lives, and there are great laws coming from Sirius which dwarf our usual cosmic laws which we access of synthesis, attraction, and economy. There's a kind of law of freedom there which is so important to our Earth. It's got a different name, but we know it somewhat as the law of freedom. Now we've undertaken the ray path with archaic stanzas which are just mind-boggling, an archaic stanza. And we've learned that these paths are long. Our solar system still has 150 trillion years to go, or at least our solar logos' incarnation, before he returns to his causal nature. So even going to Sirius for training, one might not return until the next solar system. And then there would be some kind of night of Brahma, which would last another 311 trillion years approximately, if all of these systems are of equal length. That could be, just in figures, it could be 450 trillion years before, again, those who are trained as solar angels can return and do something. And even then, in the next system, they may not get busy immediately, so some trillions of years may pass. Very, very long, extremely long periods of time, mind-bogglingly long periods of time. And so it can be for the path of planetary logoi. Many Mahamanvantaras will separate the master who begins on this path, a planetary logoi, from becoming a full planetary logos. Many Mahamanvantaras, assuming the word Mahamanvantara means what it says, and the is a complete occult century. Sometimes the word Mahamanvantara means a lesser period of time, but one cannot imagine how it is possible. If it takes a whole solar system to become a solar angel, one cannot imagine that a Mahamanvantara would mean less, because it would mean that one could become a planetary logos within this solar system. That is not possible. This ray path, the majority of the masters pass on this path. Masters of the wisdom, lords of compassion, take path number 4, or maybe path number 2. 2 and 4 are definitely related. He's given us the relations, right? They are a little different from the transferring patterns. 1 and 7 are related. 2 and 4 and 3 and 5 think that's the case. They are like one path. And 6 is left out, and then these are collapsed further into 2 and then collapsed into 1. But what I want to emphasize is the great lengths of time on the ray path as well, because planetary logoi are in a way ray lords. So you think that between 3 and 5 there can be transference all the time, not just, as I said earlier, from 3 to 5, because one who is a ray lord can manifest through a planet. We oftentimes call our planetary logoi ray lords. So there are what we call disembodied ray lords and embodied ray lords. The embodied ray lords are the planetary logoi or solar logoi, whatever, and there are corresponding disembodied ray lords who are not working through particular concentrations of matter substance, like a planet or like a sun. So we're talking about paths which I believe last longer than the duration of our solar system. Many Mahamanvantaras, and maybe on the ray path as well, when we turn towards the outer blue, which I've corrected in my own conception, when we turn towards the outer blue, it may be a very, very long time before that cosmic turning is possible. And then who knows what is the destiny of a ray lord within the life cycle of a cosmic logos, or one about whom naught may be said. We've been told how long a solar system lasts, or at least our solar system, and we've been given, according to the figures based upon the numbers 216 or 432, we've been told some 311 trillion, 40 billion years. But these paths may last much longer. The training for such paths lasting much longer than one occult century. And although maybe with the path of the ray path, much the shorter period of time is spent within the solar system, because it's just one solar system. When the work has been fulfilled on our planet under the eye of the adjuster and in response to Shambhala, then there will be work to be done responding to all the possible levels of vibration in the solar system. But that's still the duration of one solar system. Maybe when this ray lord is outward turned towards cosmos, then there will be much greater future ahead for such a ray lord, as it tends to become maybe one day solar logoi, because the solar logoi are also ray lords, but they are embodied ray lords. See, that's a way of passage from the path of the rays onto the path of the planetary logoi, or even onto the path of the solar logoi. Embodied ray lords and disembodied ray lords. The ray path seems to deal with disembodiment, but the path of the solar logoi, excuse me, deals with embodiment of a solar kind, or embodiment of a planetary kind on the path of the planetary logoi. So very, very long periods. How long does a cosmic logos endure? What is the duration of that chakra? We basically assume that the whole lasts longer than the part, because a part cannot be a part if the whole disappears. So we were given 311 trillion years for a solar system, but a solar system is just one small part of a cosmic logos. And the different solar systems may have different durations according to the chakric position that they have. Do all chakras necessarily disappear at the same time in a dying human body? No. There's a time interval there. And maybe when you look at that time interval, for the absorption or disappearance of a cosmic logoic body, it'll take a while. So different chakras may endure different periods of time, but maybe, they all more or less within cosmic time disappear at the same time. So can we say that 311 trillion is necessarily the span, the duration of all solar logi? I think it would be a very risky thing to say. But anyhow, we assume that the duration of a cosmic logos is somehow longer than that of a solar logos. There's something bothering me just a little bit here, because the solar logoi are chakras, and in a way, no being can exist without its chakras. So the death of the, or pralaya of the solar logoi may be of the same, the death of the span of life of a solar logos, the chakras appearing within a cosmic logos, may be of the same duration as a cosmic logos. But so that has to be worked out. Can a cosmic logos exist without his chakras? Well, he can exist on higher planes, but then there are higher planes as well for the solar logoi. Oh, this could be a problem, but we, in general, at least the prevailing prejudice would be that the greater lasts longer than the lesser. And what about the one about whom naught may be said? The Ray Lord can also be on the path to, well, there are no such paths yet given, but it would be constellational development. The path to becoming a cosmic logos who is embodied in solar logoi. That's a possibility for an advanced Ray Lord too, but not in the context of which we are speaking. You can become a sun, yes, and you can also become a constellation. And maybe even an embodied one about whom not may be said, but those are paths that are not mentioned on the paths that we are discussing, nor can they be. But anyway, my point is that a Ray Lord can undergo a series of training which is equally long as that of a planetary logos. It's a very long path, but to become a Ray Lord can become a planetary logos, and hence its training will be long. Well, you can only allow your mind to go so far before it begins to crumble and say, thus far shall you go and no further. Because at a certain point, speculation becomes futility, and you have to have the intuitive sense of when speculation is productive of some intuitive realization and when it's just so far out there that it can lead to no profitable result. The mind may be led in that direction, but the will has to enter and say, well, maybe it's not useful to speculate upon these things. Well, we have paths before us, and we are monads, and monads can tread these paths, and we will tread a path, and it's all on the way back to the one thing that we are, through a variety of different forms and relationships, which we call the paths. We're all going to discover that it's just been the universal drama of one being, and we're all it. And the many, many paths have arisen through emanation, and through the regathering of the emanations to the source. But the final realization will have been that we've been in many different circumstances thinking we were individual when in fact we've only been one thing. And that is what the final realization will be in this cosmos. All right, now the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men, let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men, may Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let love, let light, and love and power restore the plan on earth. Okay, friends, this is the end of Cosmic Fire webinar commentaries, number 28, and I'm going to call it BC, Path of Higher Evolution Compilation, page 136. And beginning of Cosmic Fire webinar commentaries, 29A, Paths of Higher Evolution Compilations, page 136. We will then move on to the Path of the Solar Logoi and the Path of Absolute Sonship, about which he says less and less, but may introduce in the Archaic Stanzas totally impossible things to contemplate. But we'll make an attempt. I thought before I got into it that this Ray Path stanza would be impossible to contemplate, but it does, at least associated ideas come. Some of them may be useful, some of them not. But we'll see whether anything can issue from the Archaic Stanzas of the last two. Then at some point we have to go on to the stanzas of Xian, which are in the beginning of the book, about which I've actually written a very long commentary. It may be sufficient, just that may be sufficient, and in relation to which I've taught a class in Denmark. I might like to take one more pass at it. Every time I take a new pass, it seems that more things emerge. So we'll let it go at that, and we will be with you shortly. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.